Albuquerque Mayor-elect R.J. Berry joins us. Thanks for being here.
Great to be here.
A lot to talk about. A little more than a month until you officially take office. Many people are wondering, how is this city going to change? You've talked a lot about public safety and crime. That's part of what you ran on. But more specifics at this point, do you know what specifically you're going to start changing?
Well, right now what we're doing is we have our transition teams that we've put together. Starting this week, we're going to go from department to department, talk to each director, talk to the staff, talk to the people that work in the departments, and find out what they need. What kind of resources do they need to do their job for the city? And so we're really going out right now and just hitting the ground with our transition teams.
Is there a focus, being an outsider until this point, looking in, saying, why does the city do this? Why can't we improve this? Which areas have you seen that you want to target?
Well, I think that's a lot of what I have to offer. And coming in with a business background, coming in with a degree in finance, having been in the legislature on the budget side, I think there are a lot of good ideas that we can bring in. And as we start this transition, that's what I've asked my teams to do, is to talk to the departments one by one and find out what are you being asked to do every day that may not be great use of taxpayer dollars. What could you do if you had additional training, if you had additional resources? We're going to be on some tough budget times, but I want to make sure that we're being have as efficient of a city government as we can.
Let's talk about that. So you're not necessarily bringing in your independent ideas. You're talking to the people working within first?
Well, both. We're doing both. Of course, during the campaign, we talked a lot about crime, property crime in particular. We talked about running the city hall a little bit more like a business. And I think that means a lot of things to different people, but what it means to me is creating efficiencies, making it a great place to come and work on behalf of the taxpayers. And so I think a lot of things that you see out of my administration will be along those lines.
Let's talk about finances. I mean, here we have the special session. Everybody is in super tight times. Have you had the opportunity to look at the situation that Albuquerque is in and what you're going to deal with going in?
Well, we're just now looking at some of the fiscal year 11 numbers, and there's no question we're going to have financial things that we have to deal with at the city, just as the state does. So as we start putting the transition teams on the ground and we start getting more and more data, but there's no question that we're going to have some tough financial work to do, but we'll get it done. You know, we'll work with the city council, and Albuquerque's a great city. We'll get through it.
Many cities are talking job cuts. Is that something you see in the future at this point?
Well, you certainly don't run on a platform of job cuts, and I think that's the last resort. I think what you look at, once again, is creating efficiencies, seeing what we can do with the resources that we have to serve the taxpayers, and then, once again, when you have difficult budget situations, you have to look at all things. But once again, we're not going in specifically looking at that, but we'll just have to see when we get down to building the budget.
And let's get to crime, since that was one of the main things you ran on. Any specific ideas on what you want to do?
Well, I've asked Darren White. As you know, Darren White is my designee for Director of Public Safety. We've had numerous meetings to talk about. In public safety, it's police, it's fire, but it's also emergency preparedness. We're talking about the H1N1 situation. Want to make sure that Albuquerque's prepared. It's the Safe City Strike Force, making sure that buildings that are crime, that create part of a crime problem, are being dealt with. So I've really tasked Darren White with a large scope, and we're having meaningful meetings every day, and we're going to start putting together allocation resources and talking about those things as well.
Okay, thanks so much for joining us.
Good to see you.
We appreciate it. We'll see you much more to come.
Thank you.